We are pleased to have here on the Rich Eisen Show a two-time winner of this event, the U.S. Open, Andy North, joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show from the worldwide leader in sports. How you been, Andy?
Rich, I'm doing fantastic. Yourself?
I am doing fine. You know, Tiger is the lowest of the fruit that's hanging right now. But let's start with the course first, which is another piece of low-hanging fruit. When Rory McIlroy is lightly critical, Sergio Garcia talks about the lack of green services, and Colin Montgomery just flat out calling them bad. What do you make of the course conditions, Andy?
Well, you know, first of all, you're going to get the party line that everybody's got to play it. But at the same time, the green surfaces are not good. There's a lot of Poana. And, you know, we talk about Poana a lot of tournaments, but Poana is different when it's in fescue versus bent, where there's such a variation in the two grasses that the ball just won't roll smoothly on the greens. And as the Poana dries out later in the day, it gets a little bit brittle, and it's even worse than it is in the morning. So the putting surfaces are very tough. If you've got a putt that you can hit very firmly, you've got a chance to keep it on line. But if you've got a 6, 7, 8 foot putt downhill that's got a lot of speed that you just have to kind of get rolling, you've got absolutely no chance to get that ball rolling smoothly.
So how does this happen then? How is this possible that the USGA and with the entire world watching, and certainly for a course that they knew was going to be under somewhat criticism just by its look, that something like this happens, Andy?
Well, you know, Poana is a weed that gets into golf courses all over the country, and it's a problem. You know, there's a lot of places along the California coast that it's mostly all Po. But, you know, it's something that they could have taken some of the grass out a year and a half ago or so, but it probably would have snuck in anyway. It's just a matter of they get them this fast and this dried out, the ball isn't going to roll very well. And if they'd have kept the greens maybe a little bit slower or kept more moisture in them, they probably would have been a little bit better surfaces to putt on.
So let's now move to Tiger. What's going on with him, Andy? Is it all between his temples, you think?
Well, he's, you know, there's a lot going on inside his head, and if you look at most guys, when they play really well, they don't think about much of anything in their golf swing when they're playing well. And right now he's trying to make these changes in his swing, which every player has done at one point in time, and they've struggled, that you get so technical and you're trying to make a golf swing versus hit a golf shot. And that's the big difference right now. And he can do it on the range where you get into a rhythm, and you're not thinking as much about the technical part of it after you've hit 2 or 3 good ones in a row. But he hasn't been able to take it to the golf course yet, and it's very frustrating for him, and it's frustrating for all of us who've gone through this. You know how he feels, and you hate to see a great player struggle like this.
Is it as simple as not having the right coach, Andy, as people are saying?
No, I think right now he's got to somehow just clear his mind and work on a couple of simple things, and it just takes time. I mean, he says that he's getting really close to doing what he wants to do. He just can't do it on the golf course under pressure yet. So he's going to have to hit thousands and thousands and more balls, and it's going to take a while, and he needs to be able to do it in a tournament. And it can change as quickly as it's gotten bad. I mean, you can go along and struggle, and then all of a sudden one day on the golf course you hit 2 or 3 or 4 shots in a row that feel really good, and all of a sudden your confidence, you know, grows, and you hit a couple more good ones, and it grows some more, and before you know it, you can't imagine you ever played poorly.
Well, it's remarkable, Andy. I'm on the phone with Andy North of ESPN, joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. When Fox showed a montage of his 2000 U.S. Open championship at Pebble, where he won by 15, and just how confident he was. That's when Tiger was at his zenith, right? Where he had the look, he had the shot, he also had the smile holding up the trophy at the end there. And then they took a shot of him on the course live, and he looked tired and beaten, a totally different individual.
Yeah, it's, you know, he's a different person. I mean, what he's gone through physically the last basically 6, 7, 8 years, where his body hasn't worked. He's had to have all these operations. And when you keep coming back from these operations, you don't know how your body's going to react. And maybe the things he's trying to do in his golf swing his body can't do anymore. And that's a problem that you do have as you get older and as you come back from injury. Sometimes your body just isn't going to work, and he's searching right now to find a swing that he can do with the way his body is now as a 40-year-old versus a 25-year-old kid.
So what's Ricky Fowler's excuse, for the lack of a better phrase? Then he shot one. He was worse.
He just had one. He had one of those days that it's just bizarre. I mean, you know, you have one of those every once in a while. He missed 2 fairways yesterday and shot 11 over par. You know, generally when you shoot big scores, you've driven the ball terribly. He buried it in some bunkers. It took him a couple of shots to get out of them. He struggled on the greens also. You know, before you know it, on a golf course like this, you start making bogeys like they're pars, and then you're really in trouble, and that's what happened to those guys yesterday.
Andy North joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's go to the top of the leaderboard here. Which guy who put up a nice number yesterday do you think has the best chance of putting 3 more of them together and winning it all?
Well, I actually picked Dustin before the week started. I really do like the way he's playing. I think he's one of the guys that the poor greens will affect less than other guys. He is so long that he's hitting irons into these greens that are ridiculous. I mean, he's hitting wedges and 9 irons on holes. Other players are hitting 5 irons too. And that's such a huge advantage on a golf course like this where they're struggling with the greens. There's undulations in the greens. The greens are going to be really firm. If you're playing in there with wedges and 9 irons and I'm playing in there with a 5 iron, you're probably going to get closer than I am.
So you like Dustin to finish thing off, go wire to wire?
I really do like the way he's playing right now. I think he's got a great chance.
And what about Phil? I mean, Phil had a nice day, and he's, you know, he always does well in the U.S. Open, it seems. And is there at some point where Phil might? Is it possible to even say, because, you know, obviously the number of championships is different, but Phil might surpass Tiger when it all comes down to it, Andy?
No, that's not going to happen.
Never.
No, that's not going to happen. He's so far. He's 4 careers away from Tiger from winning major championships. You know, when you start looking at the numbers, but Phil at 45 has a chance to be Ty Irwin for the oldest winner of this championship this year, and he's coming in here playing well, very quietly. 3 top 5s in his last 5 starts. He loves major championships. He gets at 45 years old, you don't get fired up to play every week, but he gets fired up to play majors. So he thinks he's got a great chance to win this week.
So when it's all said and done, Andy, the question I get asked the most is one I'm about to ask you. Do you think Tiger Woods will ever win another major?
I'll tell you what, I'm starting to think it might not happen. I was absolutely convinced as he's going through this over the last year or two that he'd get back to being the Tiger we think he could be. I'm not so sure at 40 years old after all these injuries and what his body's gone through. He will win another major championship. I think he's going to win tournaments again, but majors are another animal, and he gets, anybody that wants to win these so badly sometimes puts so much pressure on yourself you just can't perform at your best at a major, and he seems to be doing that a little bit right now.
Andy, thanks for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Rich, anytime.
You bet. We'll have you back anytime. I appreciate it, Andy. Thank you.
You got it. Have a good one.
You too. That's Andy North.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.